You are What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Star Like Digest, a podcast bringing line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 308, being recorded on May 21st, 2025. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo here.
What's up, nerds?
I've got Grand Admiral Franz.
Yeah, I'm here.
Only takes orders from Tarkin himself.
Damn straight.
Maybe Krennic. Do you take orders from Krennic? Or are you like...
No, I almost used my first F-bomb today. On
already? That early? Jeez.
Wow.
No,
and that was
Krennic
Krennic
and I are peers. I take no orders from Krennic, from a director.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I got the rankings straightened out there, because I know it says Grand Admiral, but we'll see. Ernie the Fallen Fett will be joining us shortly once he sits there and he decides whether to end that stream and hop over here. You only give him 2 hours to do it. But anyhow, 500 is a very tough thing to stop celebrating.
It is.
With that, our Shadow Council and our pit needs a proper shout out. Scott, take it away.
That's me. We're nearing our 5,000. So I'm expecting us to celebrate for quite some time whenever we hit that.
Subs, yes.
Yeah, between
Subs,
Wednesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's usually our celebration. Then we move on to let's get 6.
That's right.
That's right. It's always about the next level.
If you're not growing, you're dying. So
That's
I heard.
right. If you're not first, you're last, or something like that. Shake and bake,
We're
Moocher.
definitely
Shake and bake.
growers.
Yeah.
So, hey, these fine folk right here, thanks to them, we are able to keep the lights on here. As colorful or bright and annoying as they can be sometimes, not our Shadow Council, but my lights in particular, they just kind of go off the rails. But special shout out to our friends, AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Bly, who is always first, right? Commander Cook, Crystal E., Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure Podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Matt Logic, Mufftack is back, Nicholas Schaefer, Obi-Sean Kenobi. So if you want to join that list of fine folks that support this show and make it happen weekly, just go over to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast and donate a couple of bucks. We really appreciate it. Like I said, it all goes back into the production of the show. And honestly, without it, we would look gross. We would absolutely look gross. It would look like I don't know. Who are we up against right now that's streaming?
Anybody else.
Just go
Anybody else. That's
go
right.
back 300 episodes. You'll see.
We didn't have a droid behind someone. We weren't shiny. We didn't have.
Right.
He gets lost. I need to change his setup big time, but
you have him behind the mic, dude.
I can't help it. I even put
that's part of the setup. Put the mic on the other side. Do something.
No, there's
There's
stuff
ways
over
to-
there. Yeah, there is. You're right.
Ways
You're
to
right.
organize. Just
You're
put them
right.
somewhere and say this sucks.
All right,
Fix it.
I'll rephrase. I'm lazy.
Anyway, let's give a shout out
Get
to
on
those
it.
fine folks that are in the pit while these two argue. Let's
Do it
they're
right
not
now.
arguing yet.
As he's doing this,
we've
we'll just
got
do it right now.
Yeah, do it.
Commander Bly in there. He's probably taking a nap right now. So have a great night, Commander Bly. We've
Feels
got
like he's part
Rhino
of the mic.
Hobbies.
The droid. I'm sorry. I'm back on Marco messing with him. It's part of the mic. He needs to move.
Exactly.
Carry on.
Thank you. Rhino Hobbies. Welcome, Rhino Hobbies. We've got Gordon in there. What's up, Gordon? Hellrunner Base. What's up, Hellrunner? Basil G, Sir Basil G of the I don't know where he's from, but wherever that is, Basil's. Let's see, who else have we got? There's a lot of people in here so far. We've got Santo1414, if I could get that to pop up. There we go.
We are well
Mando
oiled
Mike
today.
is in there. We are. Well, you guys
Yes.
are talking. Gavin Connor's
Give
in
you
there.
more time to figure it out.
Stu John Jedi, Matt Logic. We've got Meeks in there. And Don the Dad Dorn. He is in here now. So welcome one and all. And I don't know what this comment's all about, but
Were you one of the D's or the P? Stu John.
congratulations, Stu John.
You.
Whoa.
All right. We also got Dr. Bruntley checking in. Also, as our partners over there at SKN finish up, I'm sure that they'll be populating over here to talk Star Wars because that's what we want to do today. Last week you weren't here, Chris.
I know it wasn't.
I know, and you probably had a good time not podcasting, not talking Andor, but I know you did enjoy the second half of it and all that stuff. So I'm going to continue the conversation this week with more stuff because I might even go a little bit further with things because now I've had a week to marinate where Andor sits in this whole Star Wars timeline, and I've said, and this is my opinion and everything, but it's probably I'm not saying the series is my favorite. I say the timeline is my favorite in this era. You know what I mean? Chris, do you have anything before we get into other things, like anything additional that you've seen or wanted to?
No, I seen you guys caught everything last week. I didn't get a chance to go back. It's been a busy week, but
no problem.
You know, like you said, I like the last half of it. It saved the show. It's 7.5 probably for the whole shebang. The last
half of the season, right? No,
yeah. This. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of the first season, so the last 2 weeks there. We're perfect. We're really solid Star Wars, like really solid Star Wars. Magic, space fights or space and battles and just the feelings everywhere. It was perfect. Cool. I'm sure you guys covered everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the whole show and everything. I think we did bring this up a little bit. How like Stu John said he rewatched Rogue One the next day. I'm sure the Rogue One hits were just piling up, right? Because I did the same thing. I watched Rogue One, and Rogue One is season 3 of Andor because how it went through the flashback of like they mentioned Galen or so in the end, the last couple episodes, and then you go into the flashback, you go right into the events of Rogue One. It did change it for me in a sense that it made. I mean, Rogue One's already impactful. It's my fourth favorite Star Wars film, fourth or fifth favorite Star Wars film, like in my list. But this made it like completely more meaningful in the rebellion stages. Everything we saw through the Bad Batch, Clone Wars, everything we saw the Empire, especially in Bad Batch, where we saw the Empire change from Republic to Empire a lot, and we didn't get a lot even through Rebels, right? It was just cells, and it wasn't like this whole monster that was growing, and that Andor really gave it to us. So I want to say, like, I feel in this era there's a sub trilogy. Okay, what's up, Ernie the Fallen Fett?
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats on 500. I know
Thank you.
You don't. Yeah.
Thank you.
But I was just talking like how Andor, Rogue One, and A New Hope is now a sub trilogy. Like you tie in those three because A New Hope kind of has an ending, right? I mean, bad guys, one of them survives. The Emperor is still out there, but it's got a kind of like they
get medals. The bad guys are blown up. We didn't know we were going to get Empire in the first place, right? He kind of wrote it like that. So,
yeah. It's like a soft ending to so like I sit there and go,
what you're putting down.
Yeah. So like Andor, Rogue, and New Hope is a trilogy, and then of course New Hope, Empire, and Return as a trilogy, right? So I was just really
you can't really double dip.
Well, I mean that's why I call it a sub trilogy, right? You know, it's something that you can watch in a block and just be like, oh hell yeah, just like episodes 1, 2, Clone Wars 3. It's a block now, right? Yeah, I'm really digging it. Like
I can never do 1, 2, Clone Wars 3 clean. I mean,
I don't want to.
For some goofy reason, right? I might hit the Mortis arc in like 2 or 3 arcs, but I'm not going full 7.
Right. A few key arcs, especially like Ahsoka's last arc in season 7, right? I mean,
didn't Disney Channel already do that?
Yes. On the Disney Channel, you can watch it in chronological. You can watch.
No, I think they put up
timeline
key ones. Like they don't have to watch.
Gotcha.
They had it a while ago. Yeah, where
they did.
If you pick it, it's going to tell
essential
you which ones
episodes.
Correct.
To
go into.
That's probably what I
you're
would
right.
do.
That'd be pretty crazy to do them all.
Can't do that again.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go Mortis arc if I was doing that. Like if I was doing chronological, I would probably just go season 7 because everything ties right in. Like it goes to Order 66 and has Ahsoka's kind of like journey, and that's a tough one, man. I don't know what I would do on that. So,
I gotta. Okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna hit Basil real fast. Andor manages to recontextualize Rogue One for me. Not a major impact, but it's funny how it makes me appreciate a movie I already love even more. I think that's a very good sentiment. Like as Andor, like I said, it's impactful, but it's not the key staple of Star Wars. Like Chris always says, magic and all that stuff, which I will get into in a minute. Like a little bit of a controversial statement, but yeah, Scott.
I rewatched Rogue One as well after watching Andor season 2, and it kind of, I don't want to say it drug it down a rung because we've it's still a great film. I still love it, but it went from being this slow burn, you to just a basic action movie, right? And I feel like we kind of got short shrift with Andor and the way he ends, and he just kind of, he's the star of of his main show mostly, and then all of a sudden he's just a side character in Rogue One. He's one of an ensemble, right? And it just, I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I kind of feel like he just.
I almost felt that in the Andor series too.
I thought he was part of an ensemble in his. Mon Mothma, Luther, everybody else had bigger, but Cyril and Deidre.
It just has the title Andor.
I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. In fact, it's so weird. We get a little bit of Andor. It's kind of like not quite as. Actually, Boba Fett's in Boba Fett more than Andor's in Andor.
He lets you know too every step of the way.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm actually.
If you didn't recognize him, he'll take off his helmet.
Are you watching Boba Fett right now?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. We're going through that again.
Yes. Yeah. I get what you're saying, Scott, but you got to look at it like Andor as like a title because I felt like there was a bunch of characters, just like it'd be calling Star Wars Skywalker, right? Like you have this one main that can tie everything together. Skywalkers tie in, our Star Wars, and Andor himself ties in this group of people. Because I didn't
get a chance to finish what I was saying. So
we were all talking again.
That's okay. It's all good.
Podcast.
Overall, I think it did enhance the show. I just felt like the character of Andor himself. Now that I had so much Andor and the build up for him, I felt like his end. I wanted him to take more center stage. But
yeah,
it's all good.
That's always a problem of going backwards on things, right?
Yeah,
it's always like I say, even in the Mandoverse, you got the sequels, which they have these points that you have to get to, and maybe they set up the ending that the journey is not going to be as good or even better. Which I think in this case, like the Mando journey to get to the sequels, that time frame is going to be better, But I also do think that if Andor was a 5-season, 10-year project, then Rogue One really miss as far as it'd be way too slow, way too I forgot everything that happened. Who are these people? Why do I care about them? Because, like I said, and this it gave me a week to kind of get off that hype train of this is so good, versus okay, now what's the impact on the timeline, right? How does this impact our Star Wars viewing, talk, and all those things? What we take out of Andor is the rebellion talk. Not necessarily Andor himself, because again, we don't really do that when Rogue One was a thing. Rogue One was just an awesome kick to A New Hope. It was the next frame, and I think Vader stole the show on that one. It's always
it's just funny because there's such a tonal shift going from Andor to Rogue One too, right? Just like going from Rogue One into A New Hope. There's a screeching breaks, right? There's a complete tonal shift from one to the other. The same thing kind of happens in Andor, because Andor is dark and slow and serious, and all of a sudden you're in Rogue One, which is more of an action-packed with it's got the jokes in it, right? It's got comedy in it, which Andor didn't have a whole lot of yucks, right? I mean, it's a tonal shift, and that's
film versus TV too.
That shift in tone is where the difference was right there. It was, and I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just like that was a shift.
Are we good? Can I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just think it's just the next chapter in that, right? So each part of the season, each week was a little faster, right? And more action. You just got through we have to talk about it in the shadows to Rogue One, jokes aside, right? But as far as it being action-packed, slammed in there, being film, you have to get done in 2 hours versus a stretch, right? And also you're in the thick of it now, just trying to go. It's going to be more of a, okay, let's just get at it and fight. And I still thought Rogue One was a little bit, for a movie, had a lot of good talk, dialogue, and motion through it, and character development for one movie.
Oh, loved it. Yeah. Absolutely. You get all the emotions whenever it comes to Jyn and her dad and the whole bit. Honestly, that scene still where she's listening to her dad speak in the hologram. That's such an emotional moment.
Watching over, that was one thing that I felt, we should have had some mention of how you found
Jyn.
Her. Yeah. How he found her. Because, it opens up and then K2 is there. I know we had the mention of the dad, but it would have been nice, to I don't know, something at the end as far as the only thing we have on Galen Erso is he has a daughter who's been hiding.
I think just the fact that they said Galen Erso leads us to the breadcrumbs they give us in Rogue One, right?
Yeah,
so we know how it's all.
Because you have the flashback.
Yeah,
Erso, Jedi, Kyber. Those.
I actually think throwing Jyn in would throw it off a little bit, because then you'd have Jyn and Bix kind of, in the same world, and we want to end with Bix with the
Cassian,
with Cassian's kid.
Yeah.
So,
on one point, I know that Rogue One is the epic movie portion. It's a more energetic version, but it does play like the next, if they say 1 BBY, this would be 0 B, almost like the next 3 block episode. But
right, because Rogue One is not even 1 BBY. It's like 0.0.
It is BY. It's BY.
Yeah, it is BY. It's why. It's the battle. Yeah. I mean, So Okay, so what I wanted to bring up was, and this goes to exactly what Chris was alluding to about the magic in Star Wars, right? George Lucas set up, as we all know, he set up two versions of Star Wars, right? The original trilogy was Star Wars with the Force and the mythic and the mythos in the background. It was more military. It was more army versus army. It was, rebellion versus an empire, and it had
good versus evil.
It was good versus evil, and it had the Force sprinkled in. It was in the background, and this is the Galactic Empire. It should be, right? And then George Lucas set up the prequels, which was like, jumping high, sword. Every possible scenario and skill a Jedi can have. You saw it. You did everything you can. It was comic booky. It was
because we were in the heyday.
It was in the heyday of the Jedi, right? So he set up these two universes of Star Wars. Like you match them up together, and I think that's what probably in my issue was with the prequels at the time was I loved them both, but they don't book in, story wise, yeah. Look, feel, whatever, even content and to a degree, like I said, with the magic and the lightsabers and Force user stuff. So now what Disney has done, right? Disney has leaned in with Acolytes, leaned into it. Mandalorian, to a point, has leaned into some of that stuff. I mean, like there's Jedi all over the place and Rebels. So there's the PG prequel feel of Star Wars that George Lucas set up, and then there's the more PG-13 that George Lucas set up with the original trilogy. And I put the original trilogy in this Rogue One Andor kind of like gritty setting because I enjoy that a lot more. I like it when you don't really hear and see and feel everything. I like it in the background, like it's a mystery, it's a legend, where the Dark Lord of the Sith, you don't have explanation, and then of course you had Vader's journey and stuff. So again, personally, I like this, and I like it as a setting so I can go back and revisit this era versus going backwards. Even Old Republic time. I mean, Old Republic's gonna be a thing if they ever do it. It's gonna be like, well, it's all out in the open. There's really no mystery. It's like when now we're just watching this unfold. So you're losing that what I call the big.
Isn't that just kind of the reason we went in the order we went? Part of it.
What do you mean?
Build up to the magic 4, 5, 6, 1, 2,
yes.
3.
Yes.
Kind of. We're in everything's gone. They're almost extinct. There's a little bit of spark left in the galaxy, right? Type of thing, and it's Obi-Wan and Luke,
yeah.
And it's barely a spark. And you're being run by the evil ones. It's I don't know, man. I disagree with the Andor and tonal tonal talk you were just talking right now about Andor fitting more with the original trilogy than the original trilogy does with the prequels. I just see the prequels as big and bright because a different time. It's that, like we said, the heyday when Obi-Wan, when they were the knights and the guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy. That's what that was, and that's how I saw that. Were they doing better stuff? Sure, but they didn't have Alec Guinness doing backflips. But
well,
by the time we got to Empire, though, Luke could jump up through the freezing chamber, right? I mean, that was a big move right then.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it's like I said, when I say it's the Bigfoot paradox for myself, it's like talking about it and hearing about it is so much better than seeing it. You know what I mean? And I've always taken that from the original trilogy. Where it was like that was always my Star Wars, right? Whenever I get all upset and I say I'm taking my Star Wars and going home, that's the Star Wars I have taken. Like that, even like it's like the magic and all that other stuff. I love that it's there, but I think we're getting leaning too much into it to where like
there's too much magic in the original trilogy.
No, not the original. No, now like Disney's like Acolyte, any like stuff they do now. It's like it's the era. I know it's the time, and it's I understand. This is what's going on in the universe, right? Sometimes I just rather read about it than see it, experience it. I like the fact that Obi-Wan said, I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, and we had theory headcanons, but then we saw the Clone Wars, and you're like, that's why I'm like, really, I'm not impressed about clones. I'm not impressed with clones. I don't really like get them. I don't get the connection to them as much as people do, I hate the fact that Boba Fett's a clone. All right, I said it. I love
the Boba Fett's a clone. I know most people hate the fact Boba Fett's a clone.
I do.
I love it.
I said that right out of episode 2, if you remember. I'm like, I don't like that, dude, but I'm not going to write a letter to George Lucas.
I loved it. It just showed how important he was.
He's an unaltered, though. Yeah.
He's like a son. He just
I know, but that's like weird, right?
like
You're
Anakin
raising
has no
yourself.
father, and Boba has no mother.
You're raising yourself.
But he's got tons of brothers.
Tons of brothers.
Yeah.
Tons
I'll
of
run her
brothers.
alkalite
And a
fire. I'll run her.
As in burn it with, or
Yeah.
As in fire doesn't burn stone. I
I was
get
gonna
it.
say.
I was just gonna say that too. You forgot the rock after that. Howlander. Fire symbol and then a rock. Yeah.
What did you tell me the other day where it shut me up for a second? I'm like, well, why didn't you just say that? You had like compressed some bullshit. You compressed.
Oh, I said it's
Burnable.
it's combustible. All right, Devon. Yeah, I don't like. It's not. You think I'm a prequel? If you're talking to me, if you think I'm a prequel hater, that's not
He
the
does.
point. If you just listen to what I just said, it's not the flashiness of it, and it's not the modernization of a movie. It was seeing the myth, seeing the legends in action versus reading about it. I think it's when you're on the hero's journey, it's more special. It's a little bit more heartfelt when it comes to hearing about a legend and then moving on your own journey rather than seeing it. What's that?
We were making up half the legends as we were going.
That's the fun part,
and
right? Now there's nothing to make up. It's
like even the pit and lava that Obi-Wan was going to kick Anakin into a pit of lava or into a volcano. And
it was a concept
kind of there, right?
Yeah,
when we got to see it.
I mean, and that was the fun part, dude. That was like honestly, and like I said, I'm not. It's just one of those things. You let things marinate long enough in life, you're going to read about it all. It's all going to come to life, just like the 33 years in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. I mean, we're seeing it with the Mandoverse, right? What they do with Thrawn, all that stuff. Are we going to see the real destruction of the final death blow of the Empire? We're going to see the First Order rise. Rather, it's so funny because like I'll contradict myself. It's like in this case,
who's got a fire?
Who's got a fire?
Is that a beeper? Is that a
my wife's
pager?
making a fucking pizza, dude. I knew that was going to happen.
Oh, your fire alarms.
The smoke detector is right next to the oven.
Yeah,
it's done.
Yeah, Basil. Think. So Basil again, or Brian C. Sorry. I thought Star Wars is best when it balances through mythical with the real. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the Spanish.
That's what happened.
We all know that move.
Yeah.
The pillows are right next to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great, a bunch of acolyte haters.
No, I'll sign up there.
That's right.
It has its good and its bad points.
Yeah, come here.
But right now, this is where Hal Runner gets himself banned for the day. It's
not anymore.
Stop it. Remake the original trilogy? No, stop it.
Yeah.
Get help.
The only way, I think we talked about this too. I take an animated original trilogy just for fun, just to see it. I wouldn't be the one I watch all the time, but to get more animated Vader Obi-Wan fights and duels throughout it and stuff. You wouldn't want to remake it because I love the characters, but you absolutely could animate it.
Yeah.
Although, if you guys, damn it,
here it goes, chicken in.
You guys see all the AI videos with voices going on right now?
Yeah, the Fortnite stuff.
And no, not AI Vader yet. I'll get into that, in a minute.
Oh, okay.
No, I just mean the video, the movies people are making right now with voices. We're not going to need actors in a minute. We can just make our own Star Wars movies, do what we want when we want.
That's why there's a voice actor strike going on right now as we speak. And
it's wild. You can't even tell hardly that besides they're like perfect complexions. You can't tell that it's AI, and we could just do that with Star Wars. I'm good with that. I mean, like we don't have to recast shit.
Yeah, as somebody who as loves continuity, then like I couldn't going back to Rogue One, I couldn't see them recasting Tarkin and putting them in there. I love that, and I don't care if it showed through as CGI. Like it was very close, but you can tell
it was close enough for me on Tarkin. I was blown away by Tarkin.
I bought it.
Liked it.
I bought it.
When I did
Leia's
the
a little
rewatch,
spotty, but
you're right.
Watch, I literally went, "What's wrong?"
Yeah,
that's Tarkin.
Okay, now you're on our page, Devon.
First good
now,
thing you said all that.
Now remake. Yeah. In fact, no, let's not remake the sequel. Let's just put it in Legends and let's forget it.
No, I'm telling you, you can redo all of them, man.
No, we need somebody to wake up from a dream.
Yeah, I would take it. As much as I hate that trope, I would take it. Like if Rey woke up and like,
it's gonna be Finn.
Finn wake up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how we start.
Exactly. The first thing he wakes up and goes, Rey.
It was actually on.
They've been in the Jedi Temple with Luke the whole time.
It was actually on TV this weekend, and I had it on in the background while I was doing stuff, and I was like,
that.
Which one?
because it was just on.
Yeah.
Which
the
one?
first one.
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens.
Yes. And I'm thinking that scene still is very weird where she got the feeling of the lightsaber, and then we have Finn fighting everybody with it like nothing. Like the saber was supposed to be special, and then when she says, "You have a weapon, use it." Like,
Right.
I'm sorry, I can get his whole fight against. I think I was supposed to be a Jedi in this movie. Because, like, yeah, he used
agree.
it a lot.
I think you know.
Watching the
I think
movies,
that
yeah.
Finn
Go
should
ahead.
have been a Force wielder as well.
Well,
So
I was gonna say, I think John Boyega's stance was the promotional things and how they market it was that he was going to be, because if you watch the movies up until Revenge or Rise of Skywalker, he didn't, but he did it. He wielded it just as Han Solo wielded it. I mean, as a tool at that moment. Like, it wasn't. I never bought that Finn was going to be anything more than what it presented to us in the films.
Me neither.
What I think his objection was how Disney marketed. He has him on this cover of the posters igniting sabers, and I'm like, okay,
Rey never had a saber. She had her staff the whole time.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the marketing misled it to what's like
That's
a bait
how
and
things
switch.
do. There was a TIE fighter in Rogue One. There wasn't you know what I mean? That's
All
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
previews for Rogue One were
That's-
false.
The marketing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
completely
The whole
re-edited
marketing.
movie.
No,
Yeah.
Rhino,
Yeah.
why?
Even Ishtar.
That's
You brought up Ishtar, bro?
funny, dude.
Wow.
I saw that movie at the drive-in. I don't know why.
dude, the fact that
go ahead.
they're talking about Boyega again, possibly showing up in the Rey thing, actually bugs me. The guy, he lit the match right when he left. He signed that last check and just opened up the door.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Blasting. Hell no, dude. You are on the unhireable list. There's no way. You can't. I can't leave my job
Well, the
after
comments
they pay me, and I start blasting. I can't.
the comments that I saw was that he was talking to Daisy Ridley about it, and that she was like, "Yeah." But I feel like you burned your bridge. You can't do that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he really let Disney have it. I mean, like,
He
you know,
did.
like a lot over and
yeah.
over.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it was like
yeah.
like a month ago.
yeah,
then
and like
you,
I said,
you can't say I'm ready to make the next movie. Call me.
yeah, hey,
Now I'm good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I said, Rise of Skywalker did a very, very poor job trying to right that
Overcorrect.
ship if the ship was even supposed to go that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just was like, let's just give him a little line that it'll never be said. It's just that as he's sinking in the about to die, he's got to tell Rey something. Great,
Is
right?
Is it I love you or is it
I'm a
Right?
Force-
That's what you. That's.
I
what
moved the
thought it
rock.
was gonna be.
That's what I
It just dies.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
I
shit.
remember
Finn
watching
is
it.
Force sensitive.
You guys were talking about episode 1 earlier, and I remember the first time I watched it. It was kind of crazy, and I felt like when nobody was saying anything in the movie theater or after was, when we saw them do these high jumps and the fast, like the run,
Yeah,
and the take off and all those. I remember sitting there just like,
yeah.
are we accepting? What happened?
Yeah,
The
are we
movie
accepting
speed
this?
up?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
we-
a
What's
Yeah.
going on? Because
But,
like, that
but
was
not
something we never
not when
saw.
Qui-Gon's in peril, right? Not when Qui-Gon's in trouble. He doesn't jam his ass down that hallway.
He didn't, or those high jumps to the next levels of,
Yeah.
of the platforms and
It's
everything.
a
And I
little
was
faster,
like,
Obi-Wan. Little faster.
we
One,
can,
Yeah.
we could have used this so much more later. I always thought it was so crazy that it was just there at the beginning, and then nothing.
and
I
then
was
forgotten.
We had
Yeah,
that.
what
I remember we used to talk about that way back then, and
Yeah.
it was kind of like, did he use all this force power? Because we had video games at that point too coming out. And they were
Yeah,
like,
That's right.
Yeah.
Do I have to recharge the force bar? It's
Right.
like one jump. Shit.
yeah.
He's out of mana.
It goes so
Oh
slow.
man, I can't run through these shields. I just used it to jump my ass up here. You
Yeah.
know, and he's
Yeah.
stuck huffing and puffing.
It's those things like
And that's what we brought into Grogu. Remember that? Oh, maybe he's recharging his force. He
he
used
did-
too much, and that's why
actually,
he passes out.
He totally does do that. So
Yeah.
he passes out.
to your point, I mean, there you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. We're good. Prequels are fixed completely.
Yeah,
You just had to
but
recharge your super jump.
it's that's if you take out those. I mean, there's only like a couple scenes that they do that in the beginning of Phantom Menace. Say you take those out, that fixes a lot of people. I mean, just take it out.
I don't have a problem with
that
any of those. The only bad one was the jump, right in the landing zone when they had everybody in there and they were about to get on a ship and they jumped down. The CGI on that jump was horrendous.
Oh, that was video game. That's
totally.
Yes,
they come out like the vent in the ceiling behind the tanks.
And it's very video gamey.
Yeah. On the big screen it was worse. So that part, but we know how that.
That's what I'm saying. Like in the big screen and watching it, we're all cool with this.
But the rest of it, I remember leaving Phantom Menace happy, except for the Maul death, and whatnot.
Yeah,
so I left all those pretty.
It's
happy.
not that. Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, and this is part of why I put Andor and Rogue One on this pedestal, because I've told you this is like the Star Wars I've been waiting for, where it's that, adult, or it's that more serious than it is a comic book. And like I said, we've got two eras, and George Lucas gave us both eras. And I enjoy both. Trust me, I enjoy it. Especially the prequels. I really like it, but there is a place for it where I go into these before
the originals.
Well, a sub trilogy now. It's like you started Andor and move it on to the Return of the Jedi, and it's its own thing. Like now, I would instead of getting mad and saying I'm taking my OT and going home, I'm taking Andor, Rogue One, OT and going home.
Oh.
That's how serious I got with.
I'm taking a lot more things before I take Rogue One.
No, I can deal
Andor too. I'm taking a shit ton of stuff.
I can live happily with the original trilogy. You've known that for a long time.
Yeah, sure. I'd take Attack of the Clones with me and Revenge.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd take Solo with me, bro.
If there's room in this hand, I'm taking the prequels. You know what I mean? But
I watched Solo again last week. If that's like twice this month, I watched Solo for no reason.
I watched it too.
Solo's fun, man.
And I still want more. I wish we would get a Solo show.
Still, there are people who haven't watched it.
Well, I would imagine the Maul show is going to have to kind of go into it. Do you think we can get how? Do we know the time frame on Maul?
Yeah, it's 1 year after the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Okay, so
that was announced. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're not going to get. We're going to get the beginning of Crimson Dawn, but probably not Kira and Han. Kira will be too young. They'll still be. I
miss that, dude. I want a Crimson Dawn. Like, what happened to her?
Maybe by season 7 of Maul.
Hey guys, I have to bounce for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That would be great. I mean, if we could get that finished, that was such a good setup, and then we lost it.
They saw the Lando show. I think was going to be the sequel. The Lando movie was going to be the sequel, but here we are sitting here doing nothing with it. So
yeah. I mean, the Solo. There should have been a trilogy. Like,
wasn't Lando still on the board?
It's on the board still. They said it's up to him,
right?
It's on Glover. Whenever he has time to do it, they'll do it. They've been still working on the script. Him and his brother, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because like everything that they've announced, we talked about the slate and everything. Everything is on the table, so nothing has been.
Yeah, even Rogue Squadron seemed to pop back up somehow. Which
was it there?
Well, it was in the talks recently that somebody was talking to Jenkins, and she said I wouldn't call that dead. She type of thing. Like they're still working on that. There's still things going on. Writing and working behind the scenes. That's not a dead in the water. So Rhino. Solo was great. Just caught the fallout from the sequels. 100%. That caught fallout specifically from Last Jedi. Yeah. It was 6 months after, and we were all still figuring the shit out.
Yeah.
We were still on here every week sweating about it and arguing Luke's arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. There was so much turmoil around Last Jedi, and it just. I mean, we were doing our midnight shows, right? We were have crowds, and like during the Solo, we had nobody. Like nobody was there to watch the movie.
Hold on, dude. Devontae in here was calling you a prequel hater, and he's hating on freaking everything else.
I know, right?
I'm like, dude, pick a lane. Hate or don't.
Yeah, seriously, dude. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Are we just hating Disney stuff? Is what we're supposed to do?
Yeah,
we're supposed to love the priest. Caught it. Got it. My bad. Never mind.
There you go.
Continue on. Proceed.
Now we know. Now
I just had to catch on to the thinking here. So like Solo didn't suck. Solo freaking rock, dude. Would you want to put Harrison Ford out there de-aged for a whole movie? Harrison Ford's old, even if he's de-aged.
I mean,
dude, Luke is old when he's de-aged. His voice is old as shit.
Oh God, yeah. I cringe now when I see an old Mark Hamill. I'm just like, no.
I hate hearing old Mark Hamill on a young Mark anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no.
Yeah. No,
Hey,
I
you can still nail Joker, so I'm still down with that.
no.
All you have to do is close your eyes.
It just I'm just okay with Joker being older because you can still hear it.
Yeah. No, I haven't heard him older. I can still hear Joker, but
Yeah.
the Luke, yes, the Luke,
It's
yes.
bad.
That's
The
what
AI
Yeah.
stuff works. The AI stuff.
Yeah, right. Like, dude, like,
now
honestly,
Devante's just trolling me. Hold on.
yeah, yeah,
There's a block coming.
yeah. I mean,
Never mind. I'm done. I'm done. Forget it. Look just like Lando.
what happened to the Luke that I used to know? Yeah, I love that parody. Is so good. Oh,
I still think
man.
we're getting Luke soon. So
Yeah, here's
that
the
in
thing,
mind.
guys. Like we could talk, visuals. This actor didn't look like this or sound like that, right? The one thing that we are consistent with is like you throw Star Wars from A to Z on paper. I think even to the sequels to a point. Like there's some plots that you can you pluck out and be like, dude, that just really messed things up. But yeah, but there are some kind of cool things in there. You on paper,
Totally.
like it really, really works, right? So like watching other than the name, how he got his name,
Take that out, man.
that was the worst bit of that movie, but everything else
100%.
was a fun. Solo was meant to be a fun ride, and I think they nailed it with a fun ride. It was a bunch of turmoil, but during the production of it, but I think it works for what it is. A Star Wars story. It's his story, and
wasn't supposed to be earth shattering. We got the story of the Falcon, him meeting Chewie, him and Lando. It was kind of perfect.
Yeah,
as a young scoundrel. I'll take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Sometimes it's not about even the act. I mean, Ewan McGregor, when he was cast, everybody's like, what are we doing here? When you go back in time, how do you replace somebody like that? And now at this point, if you completely CGI'd over Alec Guinness, Ewan McGregor, I wouldn't say a whole hell of a lot. If you put Ewan McGregor at the end of Return of the Jedi in the Force Ghost there with Yoda and young Anakin, I wouldn't complain all that much because to me, Ewan's as Obi-Wan as Alec Guinness is, right? We said that about the sequels, right? If you bring a Force Ghost Obi-Wan and you happen to bring Ewan McGregor, I'm 100% cool with it.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And Homeboy that did Solo, did you guys watch it more for that part, like trying to hear him be Solo? Like I'm like, you know what? You can tell when he's not, but a lot of times I'm like, oh no, he's hitting the mannerisms, he's hitting the cadence of the talk. If he's not, Harrison Ford, nobody.
On my like rewatches, I notice it a lot more. There's one at that very end when he turns around when he refuses to help, right, to Emphas Nest and join. He gives that look, that nod. He turns. I'm like, that's Han Solo right there, like nailed it. You know what I mean? And no,
and I still think you're ridiculous about the Shriwook. I think it's great.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
it was great every time.
It makes sense. Again, on paper, right? Makes sense. It's too cringy it's too don't do it. Stop.
Right. And Ernie, I'm sorry, dude. When I was talking, I think I cut you off, dude. I'm sorry. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're too late now.
I know, whatever. Sorry.
You missed another wrestling show.
I saw your Taker shirt. I was just gonna say something.
Yeah.
You missed another wrestling show.
My bad.
I don't know why. Yeah, no, I don't know what I was going to say. Something. It was all. We were going on a tangent.
Yeah,
as we do.
As I mean, look, that's the whole thing. It's like I don't think anything that we've said in the past or we continue to say is contradictory of anything. We if anything, we express how much we like something or something that just doesn't hit home, but we never discard it. Like as much as I hate the sequels, I talk about them in canon. I talk about them when it's relevant. You know what I mean? And much as like sometimes like Scott doesn't like the prequels, we talk about it, we put it in its place, right? So that's the whole fun about doing this. Otherwise, there's no point. You just like otherwise we're just moviegoers. We're just moviegoers, and like that was cool. Walk away and go about your day. No matter what, dude, this day and age is really full about like. That movie sucked. Oh no, you didn't like doesn't mean it sucked. Same thing with me. I could say I didn't like it. I always say I didn't like it. I've always said that. I never said that sucked. This whatever. As much as I don't like the sequel. Yeah. As much as I don't like the sequel. As much as I didn't like this. As much I love Andor. It's always me. I put it in my place. You know what I mean? And
Andor was okay.
I think it's better than okay. I think it's better than okay. I didn't say it was. I just said like I just put it on.
It's about even with Boba Fett.
No, okay, now you're back.
Actually, Ernie didn't. I probably gave Boba Fett 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I ended up giving Boba Fett 8 because it got saved. Second half of that season saved it.
Right.
Last 3 episodes.
It's pretty good.
The Mando episode saved Boba Fett.
You know what I wish? I understand the hate around it and what happened and the dislike around it.
Yeah.
I wish we could have went through with a finishing to the story. Not even have to end, but okay, what was the outcome of this? Where were we going? Are you helping Mando for this reason? Did he need something on Tatooine? What was the play of the Hutts? And then for her, we totally need to know what happens with her. Like, we saw her go up there to take everybody out. What was that reason when he said no? I just feel we're just sitting at an unfinished season, right?
Oh,
like we got our first chapter of the book, and we need.
Don't you think that might? Do you think they'll kind of continue it within the Mando Grogu movie?
That's where they should,
and maybe even slide it into this Ahsoka, right? Because you've got to connect all these people at some point.
We do, but I think we do need one more before that, though.
One more connection, like a show.
Yes, one more chapter of the Book of Boba Fett. Even if it's small, even if it's a couple,
even if it's sneaking in somebody else's show like Mando did,
correct?
Right,
to
like
go ahead and get us to the point of the movie.
But the problem, that's right. Not doing a season of anything before.
We need to know the Tatooine play, the Hutt play, and what is Fennec doing? Is she turning on him? Was this for a reason?
See, now we're going to run into.
If we're going to use them and tie everybody together, like Chris is saying, we do need to go there because we're just like, okay.
We're going to run into the same thing with Mando and Grogu that Scott was talking about with Andor to Rogue One, right? Like we have this nice, and Mando is a nice adventure show and cute and adventure of the week, but it does pace itself nice, right? All of a sudden, we're going to hit a 2-hour movie here and have to fit all this crap in, not over a little arc within a season. It's going to be
maybe that was the plan at first, but
Mando
now
is what Boba was supposed to be, but we couldn't do that, so he created Mando, and we have this great Mando show. But ultimately, wasn't this supposed to be our lead up on Force Awakens, where we have them rise up and do this?
This is getting to Heir to the Empire. This is getting to Heir to the Empire. When I assume Heir to the Empire / Thrawn / First Order.
I think Ahsoka's doing that versus Mando.
I think so.
Yeah, but
they're all going to combine. It's all the same.
We saw Snoke and everything. Yeah, but I'm saying we have this great show. The only problem is it's to lead to that.
Yeah, no, it was to lead to that.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is
just enhance it. So its main job is to enhance what we already have.
Well, the
correct.
Mando wrapped up season 3 in a way that you could do whatever you want with it. You don't need any more. Like I said, if Mando went off and did his own thing and never tied him and Grogu back into the main story, and Ahsoka picked up that mantle,
we know he's coming back.
He's coming back in his own adventure, but not. We don't know what if they recoursed and be like, all right, look, Mando's run its course. We're going to take the Ahsoka world, and now that's going to be the lead up to Force Awakens and all that stuff, because they got that.
But we still have the same characters connecting because they've all connected already. There's no way not to connect Mando back to her or Bo back to Ahsoka. You know what I mean? It's like, or Ezra back to most of them.
Like you said, Ahsoka's going to be heir to the Empire.
Yeah, there's still 20-some years out. Right? Exactly.
Yeah. Heir to the Empire. I love how we ended this and we see the father and the son. That's crazy. Like, how are we going to do this? That's cool. And then in Andor, we see the plates of the same fist, but those can't be the same ones. So where are those from? So, like, I'm ready for that story. If we're somehow sliding that in and
to explain those plates and different temples and where they'd be and how the one on Lothal wasn't the only one would be kind of cool. Like the one on Lothal was the last one, maybe.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. And I'm down for that. If we saw those plates and we know that can't be Ezra's temple or like that, well then, okay, so what's going on? Where did you get that from?
Yeah. I mean, they're really going to fill in the gaps, right? I mean, like they're on a trajectory of filling in the gaps. Like I said, Andor did it. Ahsoka's gonna, there's that 30 years in between where it's uncharted territory in the canon world. We have it in EU. We have source material. You know,
We even got the world between worlds.
Yeah, that was a
in
new
live
invention
action.
for Disney canon.
Right.
Yeah,
And we have that now, which played out great. So I don't know. Yeah, give me more Ahsoka with Thrawn. Let Thrawn do his heir to the Empire story.
yeah.
Let's have some more Anakin in there, and then let's go see what Mando and them do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhino. I
They
heard
all
the
have to
same
combine
rumor.
at the end is the key, right? They got to have the Avengers assemble moment where they're
yeah.
all
Exactly.
there with the Falcon somewhere flying in the back. I mean, it's going to have to
I
show
mean,
up.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Rhino. I heard the same thing. I heard a crazy rumor that Zendaya being cast as Mara Jade. It could be a Jazz Cabbage memory. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I
don't think we'll ever get Mara Jade. I don't think that character
I think it's run its
quite
course.
fits in, I do too, and I don't think the character quite fits the canon where we're headed. So
she'd have to die pretty fast and not be met.
Pretty early on, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, relationship wise, did you guys talk about Perrin last week? That article?
Yeah.
Briefly,
interview. Yeah. Okay. I told you from day one. I liked Perrin.
Yeah.
And Gilroy did not mean for everybody to hate him. And at the end, he was going to come clean with Mon. And they had a scene where he was going to tell her that I've known this whole time what you were doing. You could have trusted me.
Yeah.
You could have told me. He ran interference the whole time. He just did it behind the scene. That's how
that was
Gilroy
the plan.
They cut that scene out. But I'm like, see, and when we saw him, that was him now depressed, not living the party life anymore, but him just going through the motions of being like that rich guy, right? But not really in his happy place, you know. And he lost a lot of stuff too. So it's pretty wild there. I knew he loved to him.
He loved raving. He loved raving Mon.
He
really did.
That really turned him back. Rave Mon got him.
He did raise his eyebrow to that.
Yeah, you know, it's like I always look at it like this too. You know, when we bring up deleted scenes or planned scenes or whatever cut scenes, I always feel like they were probably cut for a reason. And I'm not saying like, oh, that deserved that. I'm just saying like, I think when you maybe Mon's character needed what we saw her go through. She needed what we experienced was Perrin wasn't really on her side. He was just like an obstacle in her life that she let go. Same thing with her daughter. She let her go too at that dance, right? And was like, that was it. My family's gone to me. My best friend just is getting
I think it'd
killed.
be pretty harsh to know you had an ally in the same house. Not so much an ally, but at least somebody you could talk to.
But see, how much more conflict does Mon need after that point where she made that switch to join, a full-heartedly join? You know what I mean? Now, if
it's just
you
that she says
that,
goodbye. That's the perfect segue, right?
No, that would have never happened. Then she would have taken Perrin into her fold. It would have been more of the same for Mon's character. I think everything needed to be gone. Like Luthen said, I lost everything to gain everything. And I think that was the point of why that was never shown to us and all that stuff. Right? Because if you put it in and you start thinking about it, you're like, I think where we left Mon was perfect as far as like her. She's on Yavin. She's dining with the soldiers. She's into this rebellion. There's nothing that's going to pull her back. There's no leverage that could be used on her anymore.
It's funny because you say that it fits her character from that Battlefront book, right? Where she's holding somebody's hair as they're puking in a corner because of space sickness or something like that. Suddenly you see Mon sitting at a table with all the grunts and you think, okay, now I see her doing that. I could see that. Yeah. Otherwise a pretty horrible book.
Yeah. Let's talk about Andor's kid real fast, because there's a couple of things that people were going off, right? You know, it's like, we got word from Tony Gura what that scene was, like what exactly that was. And, but people right away, is that Poe Dameron? Is that Ryan Gosling? And is that whatever. It's because like always trying to connect the world, right? Always like all that stuff, right?
Somebody grows up to be somebody.
Yeah. Right. And at first I'm like, you know what? I know we have a Poe Dameron backs. I already have it's complete different, but that would have been cool. I think that would have been like, because Poe is, I could see Poe being like Andor's kid, right? You know, in that sense, right? Because even when he says like my father, or I learned,
literally see it.
Well, all right, let's take Ryan Gosling, the whitest of white, out of the equation there. Yeah, Poe Dameron fits.
2025.
For Poe Dameron fits better in that.
You can't whitewash Andor's son. You can't do it.
Man.
But two things: Ryan Gosling and that whole Starfighter movie was. Again, who knows what it really is going to be, but they said brand new. It's in the time frame of
The
after
sequels.
this, I think a
It's
year or
after,
something.
yeah, about a year after the Rise.
A year
of
after this, yeah, and it's all
So
new
it's
characters,
not
all
before
new.
the last Starfighter.
No,
No, this is the
no,
first
no.
Starfighter.
this is
No.
point. Yeah, beta. This is beta Starfighter.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But also it was
Greetings,
confirmed
Starfighter.
that
You've been recruited to.
yeah, brand new character altogether. Like, I don't think there's going to be any ties. I think the Starfighter film is going to be a standalone thing. I think, and honestly, I don't even think it has anything to do with the New Republic. I think it's a Starfighter, like either it's a Han Solo type.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't think he's going
Something
to be
that
in
gets
the
us out
orange
of
suit.
the-
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be in that.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a whole, like Skeleton Crew, a whole side thing of Star Wars.
That's so much better, dude. Because I had it
I'm
in
good
my head
with
like the
that.
video game, right? So I'm thinking like,
yeah.
If they go that route, I would have called it something different than Starfighter.
And they just
You would think
the video they just redid the old cutscenes from the PlayStation game. Just all
Right.
Yeah, you would think it would call
really
it something
good.
different, but I also think like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I that's where I'm like, my head went to it. It's like, because I can't see another movie before that Rey movie and before that trilogy comes out to have what's this gonna, and then what? Because if they're still doing Rogue Squadron,
Yeah.
that's
You
I
know,
mean-
really, honestly, you can't have Rogue Squadron, and
Starfighter. Yeah.
It's just kind of like this. The names are weird.
well,
together.
all in
They
that
don't- they're
same
not even
Republic.
they're not matching. They're not
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think Starfighter's like I said, like Hondo's Starfighter. You know
I'm
what
not
I mean?
even, I'm not even trying for Hondo
I'm
anymore.
done with
dude.
Hondo. Yeah, we're done bringing him up.
Oh,
I'm
leaving
never-
them?
Hellrunner.
I'm never getting
That
it.
sucks.
Hellrunner has a good point. Wait, are we sure it's a boy and not a girl?
I
We are
think
not.
I think Gilroy did say something about his son. I think he
I
mentioned
think we
that.
are sure then. So
Yeah. I think because he meant like Andor's ultimate sacrifice, and that glimpse of Bix with Andor's kid was the hope, what we're fighting for. That's the future, right? And not necessarily that character grows up to be somebody. It was that we know Andor never got to know. He never got to see. He didn't know anything. But we as audience, and how more impactful his sacrifice was, now that he's really sacrificed for his kid. I think that was
we did it. Might have
he didn't know, but we know. You know what I mean? Like
burns it all for a future he will never see.
right. See, harkens back to it rhymes. It rhymes.
It does. It's like
Yeah.
poetry. Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, what's
William.
up,
Rogers-
William?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, replay crew. Yeah, get those comments in too.
Okay, so I wasn't here last week. Did you
Right.
guys
What?
talk about the grandma?
Uh,
the mom, you mean, or Cyril's mom?
The grandma in the hospital scene.
oh,
Was that- Was that an ET species
so
or no?
It was an adorable species.
Oh,
No,
so okay.
I saw different angles of it where it kind of like took away that it was his
has-
people.
It has similarities
Yeah.
to ET. I mean, it really
But
does.
it's not
I mean,
though.
No,
it's
like the
not
top when you got
directly.
the top, you're like, oh, that's
Yeah, but
that's-
she's old though.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it-
Didn't she have like an elongated
Oh.
cranium, like a pointy,
Yeah.
elongated skull?
Something
Yeah,
was wrong
yeah.
when I saw the back. It was like, okay, good, it's not. Not good, it's not. Just like, oh, it's not.
that's what made you change.
at
yeah,
first,
something with the back of the head.
at first, I'm like, when has Star Wars, besides George
Oh.
Lucas, ever did a 1-to-1 on a
No.
character?
And there was and then somebody did ask, and it was debunked that it's not the same
Right.
species. They're similar. That's right. I forget what it was. They
You
even
said
had
no?
a name for it. Yeah,
Damn
there was
it.
a no. There was a no.
All
Yeah.
right.
We're talking to Chet, who's in the SK, and he brought that same thing up to me and Scott one time. He's like, "Is that a ET?" And with authority, I'm like, "Nope." But then I was like, going back, going, "Shit, yeah, there's some
Yeah.
similarities there."
When you watched it, there was. It's a really old
Yeah, I just love her character. She's like
kicking her feet.
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I wish that it was.
Oh, I don't get a lot
How
of visits.
It looked like one of the sequel era aliens. It kind of did almost look like like I mentioned last week. There was some similarities between her and a pod racer, one of the pod racers, and
Ord Mantell or Ord
something
Mantell.
like that.
That's a
yeah.
planet.
Odie,
Yeah.
Odie Manziel.
but it wasn't
Odie. Yeah,
Yeah,
Odie Mandrell.
We
yeah.
get why you're confused. It's close. It's Ord Mantell is close.
You know.
That's where the bounty hunter was.
Yes, the bounty hunter on Ord Mantell seemed to change my mind. Yeah, it's close. It's close, but
All right.
yeah, geez. I've never been called a prequel hater before.
Yeah.
That's usually Scott's job. That's usually what Scott's job.
Right? I know. No, I don't know who Devontae is, but they were on a roll in there.
I'm pretty sure Devontae was trolling because there was a whole lot of things to get me fired up, and I didn't bite most of them.
Look, we love spirited debates. I love the fact. I mean, but keep it spirited debates. You know what I mean? Don't have to. You don't call anybody out. Yeah, don't be a dick about it. And like like I said, it's
Don't call people names, asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it sounds like.
Exactly. It's our show. We make the rules.
That's right.
Yeah.
Devontae was Hell Runner.
I knew it.
Devontae was just arguing.
How come when Devontae's not in the room, Hell Runner is? How come you never
have
see
we
them
ever
together?
seen the two in the same room together?
Yeah. All right. Well. I have a very much more appreciation for the Galactic Empire era because of Andor, and but I don't want to like.
Wow,
see, I'm not that.
The Gorman incident was okay.
I loved it. Yeah, it's the spark.
Like, it's okay. Again, harken back to the beginning of the season when we had that one incident, right? And everybody's like, "Well, where's your freaking line?" Well, that was the line because the Gorman incident is not the line. The Gorman incident's awesome. That's the awesome part. He raped me as the line, right? There's a line.
Yeah.
Sure. Tear up a city. Blow up a planet.
Kill kids.
Kill younglings. let's just be sure where we know where the line is.
It's very interesting to see where lines are in the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just like the nerd line. I know as soon as Marco starts talking Dungeons and Dragons, he needs to go across the street. He gets a little.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
he gets a little into it.
Hey guys, you hear about go over there? Go over there.
And I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons hater, but you start getting nerdy at that point. It's like you need to leave because there are people here and they think I'm with you. They can hear you, man.
So we did touch on it briefly, and I had to step away to clean up a broken glass. But was there? Did we end up talking about the Fortnite Vader? Have you guys seen Fortnite Vader?
Yeah, AI Vader's freaking the best thing. I need to start playing Fortnite.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I haven't played that game.
No. I didn't play it either, but there's cutscenes where people are recording what's going on screen, and they're using James Earl Jones' voice, just like he signed away. He signed away the rights to his voice as Darth Vader, and they are using it to its full extent. And
it's
holy
fantastic.
shit, it's
the estate came down on him, right?
No, they gave permission.
Yeah,
the estate gave.
Not like Tarkin.
So
it's not. So I know Tarkin's estate is.
So who's angry about it then?
Nobody. AI Vader is like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, I thought there was a.
I think there's a point where I think the voice actors are at it, but he signed away those rights.
He did.
So it shouldn't matter to them.
Yeah, it's
right.
Yeah, it's
just we did kind of touch that then because that's the scary part, right? You just don't need actors anymore. You don't. These AI videos they're making, and if you have voices that you can just do that and sound close enough, but not. You can just get away with
what they did with Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. The voice of Fortnite Vader is better than the voice of Rogue One Vader. It really is.
It is.
Yeah. How much to sign my voice out?
Right?
You don't even know what you sound like. Maybe you do sound like James Earl Jones. He's like, this is Hal Runner Base.
Well, what you don't know is that the Fallen Fett is actually Hal Runner Base. And
see?
That's his third account.
Ernie be the one signing his voice.
You troll away. You. All right, we'll stop making fun of that you're late all the time. We'll stop. All right, stop making troll accounts.
Thank you.
I don't think we're making fun of it at all.
We're not making fun, dude.
I think it's part of the show. It's hilarious. It's part of the script every week. We know what you're doing.
One time, we're just going to sit here in silence until you hop in. We're
like, hi.
Now we can start.
And then, like 10 minutes deep, you get a text. Oh, guys, I'm not going to make it.
Let's start.
Son of a bitch.
No, if I can't make it, I always let Moocher know.
Oh yeah. You're good, man.
Yeah. If I'm late, I swear to God, I ended it at 8:02. Yeah. And then I'm still here at 8:20.
All good, dude.
You can watch the mark. It's there. All right, guys, go switch over to Sarlacc. It's at the bottom there. Okay, peace. Bye. Bye.
Your whole crew's in here.
What happened?
They'll tell us too. Ernie will be here in a few minutes.
Yeah, they do.
He's
like,
wrapping up.
I always tell them. He said, all right, switch over. Whether it be Rick or Rhino or anybody.
Yeah.
I'll be right
they
there.
They let us know. We'll end on this then. What do we think about that if they really lean into voice acting and CGI, but like AI, bringing us our Star Wars from now on,
no,
is that something that
I have to feel that it's correct with the SAG-AFTRA and everybody in there. Yeah. That is a real thing. You have to keep that way. Yeah, you're
absolutely.
right. Okay, he signed away his thing, but if we're using it to abuse, as far as say the other aspect, this TikTok, I've seen all those videos that you guys are talking about too. Yeah. But I've also seen where people have cut I fought with your father in the Clone Wars, and they make these beautiful cuts of Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting or just talking. There's some that has made me teared up, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
that was good. Yeah. Like, okay, let's keep it there.
Yeah.
But to bring it on and redo everything or do it in that sense.
Okay. What if
that's clever editing, though? That's not necessarily AI or anything like that. That's really well done editing.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I've seen some of the this is the way this should have been shot, and they do the AI.
Of course.
And it comes out beautiful. I get that, but
or the old Obi-Wan fighting Darth Vader, really super hyper stylized.
Exactly.
That would never have happened.
And that whole scene would.
Yeah.
And it does. Imagine if we got that. Oh, wow. Especially now with the end of Rogue One and the Vader scene. Yeah, let's see that fight happen between him and Obi-Wan. That would be crazy.
But in the era of Mando, I welcome it because we want Han, Luke, and Leia in it. And I don't think that we're going to get it any other way if they do an AI version of it. Or see into the point where it's like, oh, man, the actors are back. They're back from the dead. They're young again. Yeah. But to lean on it, I think as an accent, as story, leaning on it, I'd rather not. I'd rather have a whole thing. Yeah. But
well, did you see that even Mark Hamill was calling for Sebastian Stan? I saw a post from Mark Hamill saying, "Yes, Sebastian Stan, come be Luke." That would be amazing.
That's a total recast. That's another.
I mean,
Tarkin being cast.
Would you be better? No. Would you be better with that though? A recast of Luke, or would you be better with what they did in the Mando, where it's kind of Luke adjacent? It doesn't quite look like Luke, but it does.
I think it would be okay a couple years ago.
Uncanny Valley thing, right?
But Sebastian Stan's starting to get old too. Not old, but we kind of missed his pocket to be in there for
unless it's Master Skywalker further on down.
If it's a feature where it's all Luke, I would say recast. But if it's a scene.
Yeah. When we watched Luke come back in Mando, right, and he came back in the rescue, my kid was here, and I was like, Luke was here. I was like, oh fuck, dude, they got Sebastian Stan to be Luke. Right. I remember hitting him right there because we thought that for a while. I think that's that's actually when Mark Hamill might have just right after that. Then I'm like, oh no, that's a computer generated dude. That's not
it's CGI.
But at first look, I was like, oh shit, because you really can. Their eyes are really close.
It was old Mark. Yeah. And then it was the dude who was in the X-Wing, who had the stuff on his face, and then it was put together with the program stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm cool with that because I feel like that's giving Mark Hamill his.
It's a scene.
Go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it's a scene. A feature.
You just make a deal to pay people every time you make a movie with their face. I mean,
I'm sure. I think that's where the strike is trying to.
I mean, because right there, think about that. I mean, they signed away. Meaning they sold for money their likeness, right? And that's what a job is. You sign away. So
especially with
you just got to make sure to sign away your shit for enough money.
Well, that especially with Lucas, right? They can make all kinds of dolls out of your face.
Signed away, then that's just
for X amount of movies.
Right.
Like where I say, okay, so I'm Tom Cruise, right? I'm about 70 years old, but I still want to make Mission Impossible movies. At 95. So here you go. For Mission Impossible movies, I'm signing away my likeness, my voice, my everything, and you're going to pay me $200 million, and we're straight. And you guys, big actors can get away with that. It's
big actors. Make sure that goes on to your family. Like
it's the smaller bit.
It's
the bit players, the people on A&E, and well, those guys can't afford this. Well, no, it's pretty cheap to do all that shit anymore. The computers doing all the work. I don't know, man.
Well,
I get it because the extras would be gone. Those wouldn't even be jobs anymore.
Dude, cut and paste.
Which would
Control
suck.
C, Control V, Control C, Control V.
Yep. Copy paste, baby.
Yeah, copy paste.
That's
As the
what
way
you
that
gotta
we have it now, I think we'd have to continue the story of where it is now. So we've had what's his name play a solo. So then you bring him back if we needed something in between. But as far as anything after that, then if it's okay with the family,
if it's okay with the family,
in the CGI then.
What they did with the last Indiana
Yeah.
Jones movie with Harrison Ford and they de-aged him, I thought that was 100% perfect.
That was great.
It was great. They even de-aged his voice for that moment.
And I was like, for a whole film.
I don't know, and that's the thing, right? I'd say if you do a feature, I think it's gonna show. I would say recast of as close as you possibly. Like I said, Sebastian Stan doing a Luke Skywalker movie. I would say, okay, let's just let him do that. Let's come as close, and we'll buy it. But a hallway scene or a flashback, especially flashbacks, I think that AI could be very beneficial for it, and especially the deals that they make with that. Like I said, with Lucas, everybody who comes across his path had assigned away their likeness, had assigned away everything. I mean, I think that should go along with their voice too. I mean, I think it does. That's why you probably see more Star Wars or Lucasfilm driven media doing this deep fake stuff versus anybody else. I don't think Tom Cruise, you'll ever see that. They've done it with Harrison Ford. They've done it with Leia or Carrie Fisher. They've done it with Mark Hamill now. It's like,
Well, Do you think Luke is harder to recast than Han? Like we just talked about Han at the beginning of the show, right? Like the casting there, and it was hard to accept and this and that. But I dig it. Is Luke harder or easier?
First off, I mean, I'm going by like they can't even get a sculpt right on toys.
Ever.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna say he's probably the hardest actor ever to.
At this point,
there is something about his face, right?
It is, yeah. And at this point in toys, we're constantly not even saying nailed it. We're saying, oh, they're getting closer.
Yeah, they're getting closer.
Like, this one was
it's
pretty
almost
good,
there.
but the hair's wrong.
That's why you have 15 Farm Boy Luke.
That's right. It's like, yeah.
But and 15 was in the last 2 years. I'm sorry, I undershot that by.
It's weird though, because you look at Luke Skywalker, and we only have the first. We're just taking the first three movies, right? A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi as frame of reference, right? Even from A New Hope to Empire Strikes Back, his facial structure changed. We all know it did. There was an accident, there was surgery, etc., right? But even from Empire to Jedi, his face shifted again. I mean, it was the healing process, right? So all three movies, he looked a lot different from one movie to the next.
Yeah.
And now, so what Luke are you getting? What Luke are you going with, right? Because you're not sure.
I got Return Luke face on Farm Boy body. What the hell?
Right. Exactly. So that's one of the reasons I honestly think that he's so difficult to capture in this deep fake thing. I think you're almost better off recasting. Do a Sebastian Stan or do an unknown actor. There's several actors. There's one actor who I was pulling for Solo, right? Because there's one kid out there, Anthony and Gruber, who looks and sounds like Harrison Ford, right? And they went with who they went with, which is fine. By the end of that film, he kind of embodied Han Solo. But
I think the problem was that Hans Gruber or forget
Hans Gruber, Anthony and Gruber,
Anthony Gruber. He was too close, right? It's like almost you're doing impersonation.
It's impersonation.
It's how it was. It was how they said it was coming across was the problem. But then you get this guy is like you said, if he gets the character of him, right? You get the essence of Han, and by the end, like we were talking about a little while ago, he did. This is Han.
Yeah.
I
mean.
Yeah, by the end of that film, he was making hand gestures and facial nod ticks and stuff.
Right.
Like, oh, damn! It's Han.
I think that was the talk when you were out the room. Right there was that, and how he had started to embody Han and the little stuff and his cadence and his delivery and everything.
Yeah.
And yes, Hal Renner, the Goober guy, did play young Harrison Ford and pulled it off spectacularly. It was a pretty crappy movie about time travel, but he did pull it off. Wasn't time travel. It was the woman never aged, and she fell in love with him at a young age and came back in the future, and he was older, Harrison Ford. And you could not. It looked like Indiana Jones de-aged Harrison Ford. It was I felt spot on.
Yeah, I felt that's the most recent kind of like CG character we've had. It was that Dial of Destiny, Harrison Ford. And I said, on the big screen, I bought it. I was like, and I think more important was not just the look, it was the voice. They didn't use a modern Harrison Ford voice, like they did old James Earl Jones with Darth Vader and Rogue One.
Right.
I was like, oh, and then in Kenobi, it was like perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's again, and there's the way of preserving that legacy of James Earl Jones or that character that anybody plays, preserving that. And I think that it's a tool that I don't think Hollywood's going to shun away from it anytime soon, but people needs to get paid too, because especially like Chris said, an actor that makes a legacy out of this, and you're using the legacy of this actor, then of course, I think there's gonna be a lot of stipulations in that contract.
Wow.
Like, for the next 50 years, even if I'm dead, my estate gets X amount of money.
I'm still not doing anything rude. You would have pages of stuff that you're not doing. The same stuff you would do in real life, you wouldn't want.
And I'm all for that. I am all for that. Even as like on this side of the aisle, as someone who watches movie, I think they deserve, because you're using them no matter what. If a computer's doing it or not, they're the foundation for it. So they get paid.
If you're gonna show it, it's got to be like that,
right,
like that.
It's funny though.
Frontal.
with James Earl Jones's voice, right? They nailed it. Right now, they can do anything, and it sounds like Darth Vader, right? But whenever they use Luke and they de-age Luke's voice for The Mandalorian or for Book of Boba Fett, actually, it didn't sound right. The cadence wasn't there. It sounded more mechanical. It sounded more digitally altered, right?
So years makes that difference, right?
Yeah.
The technology.
Because there's some animation out there right now. I think it was Forces of Destiny where you had Luke as Jedi Luke, but it was Mark Hamill doing the voice of it, and it was this weird mix of old Luke and the Joker doing Luke, right?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh yeah. Rhino. I'm sure ILM is inventing this all as we speak. I'm sure they're the leaders of it. I mean, they've always been the leaders of it, right? Yeah. All right, guys.
Did you finish watching that Light and Magic show, Chris?
Oh no.
I
love it. I think it's fantastic. The technology that those guys developed that we have in our homes now, it's unreal. I have no doubt that they are working AI.
Yeah, it's a great documentary, and I'm glad that like we grew up with that company too, as we got to experience everything that they've invented and still invent and stuff, and even to the point, spoiler, where ILM split and Disney bought and closed down shops or whatever. I mean, it's great to know that there still has an influence. Also, I love the fact that there's competition in the world now. In that field, ILM isn't the best or are the end all be all, because then that makes that drive and makes them make better movies where we can go see and be like, that's a cool movie, and just like we do Star Wars, right, guys? That's a cool movie. And we just walk home. So see how I did? It rhymes, Chris. It rhymes. You take a troll in the pit and you turn the words against him.
Dr. Brantley, they should recast. Otherwise, they're already 20 to 40 million in the hole for what would just be an actor doing a scene. I love the original actors, but if they want to tell stories, they need to recast.
Again, Brent, I think it's like long term. I think you recast. If it's a hallway scene or a flashback, then I think you can get away with it a little bit more. But if we're invested into a 2-hour movie, watching a Harrison Ford or whatever it is, or Han Solo, then I think that's why Solo worked in that aspect, because if it was just a CGI Harrison Ford running around, it'd be, I don't know if I'd buy into it. It would
for too long. That's the problem when you go too long. That's what the little bites of everybody has been great. Harrison Ford was probably the best one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've done a great Stark. They did Stark. They did what's his name? Russell. Kurt Russell and Guardians. They did, all the de-aging stuff is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But each time they do it, it gets a little bit better. Each one is just a little bit better.
Yeah. I remember watching Tron Legacy. The first time I saw Tron Legacy, I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. You go back.
Oh yeah. Now it's like,
ooh, yeah.
Is that even allowed?
Yeah, because you guys mentioned Leia. Now, I always thought Leia looked pretty great until the last time I watched Rogue One, and I was like, oh, she is a little off. I guess.
Now that age,
Tarkin still doesn't bark me with Tarkin. Tarkin's perfect.
that technology aged from Rogue One to
Yeah.
now, and how better it can be, and how better it is, right?
I think the freaking the dome, what do they do? What do they call it again?
The volume.
The
Death Star?
volume. That too. The volume is going to age very poorly. It already has to me. I mean,
look at this again on my Andor pedestal. They weren't allowed to do the volume, and so they went on location, and that to me, I was like, thank you, because maybe I wouldn't be such a high praise on certain looks of the film or the Andor series if they were allowed to do the volume. The volume was pretty cool, but
for a minute,
because even in some aspects of Mandalorian, it's like, this looks weird. It feels weird.
Use it to enhance. It's one of those things where you don't put everything in there, but some really crazy exotic thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Why not?
I like that.
If something doesn't exist, use it that way.
Yeah.
That's how make it not look earthy.
Yeah. Well, very well. And here's the thing. It's a what did George Lucas do? Right. We're doing a digital movie. So it's an actor on a green screen. We'll fill in the blanks later. Right. And everybody at the time was like, this is innovative. It's great. Now, what did movies do? They retracted back to practical effects. Right. So now they have this volume. Everybody, oh my God, this volume is great. Now what they're going to do, I think, more on location or building sets into a thing, and maybe use that as a tool, because again, now you have that mix.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it comes to a head in Attack of the Clones, right? And then it kind of comes to a head in really Kenobi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kenobi's prequel heavy.
Yeah, Kenobi is volume and it shows, and it's like, this is not cool.
Yeah,
this is not right.
And the Acolyte too, wasn't the Acolyte like that weird forest that wasn't really
that felt like the Wizard of Oz?
It really did.
Like, it was like somebody putting on a play.
Yeah. Yes, actually. As somebody who works in that field, yes.
I can see.
All right, guys.
I can see the craft paper trees and flowers in there.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Like, keep moving. There's kids in there. You just don't pay attention. You see them in the credits though. Tree number 4.
Yeah. Close down Batu for a week and film something there, man, or a section of it. They do it all the time. They do commercials all that time. All at Disneyland. Come on.
I'm so surprised that it hasn't happened a couple of times. I'm surprised we haven't sat here and said they went to Batu again. We're always saying
the most unfindable place. Everybody keeps going. They do in the books, dude.
Yeah,
everybody
in
the books. Yes.
Talk about it. They're there.
You're right. Or even the mention. As long as if Cassian had just said Batu.
Yeah. We're going to Twin Spire Outpost and meet up with.
Yeah.
Which one?
Black Spire. It was
Black Spire.
Solo. It was
Solo.
Lando.
Lando said Black Spire. Yeah, that's the closest thing we've been.
And that was cool, but the marketplace would have been perfect. Anything, something. Maybe even that flashback with
Andor. Mention that, right? Like, oh man, we could, I know a guy. Andor,
dude, that'd be amazing.
That would have been perfect for
Andor
for
system.
the Luthen flashbacks in there, and come on, Doc, give me a fair price.
Speaking of the Luthen flashbacks, did you guys see that was Naboo that they originally that scene with he and Clea? That was Naboo where they bombed the.
Yeah. Was that officially Naboo?
Yes, it is officially Naboo.
Really?
Yeah,
he made that point because Palpatine was from Naboo, so he wanted to make sure that his very first terrorist action was taken on his home planet.
Awesome. I really wish I talked last week because I figured that out.
And so did I.
We didn't get there. We didn't get to it.
Ooh, they were on Naboo, and it's actually a deleted scene is where they shot.
Yeah.
When they came up from the waterfall shot, they were supposed to be right there where they're showing them sit and the steps and the bridge and everything. So it was technically there, but it's a deleted scene that never made the shot.
Awesome.
And when I saw it, I too was like, "Oh my God, they're on Naboo! This is great. That's beautiful." Yeah. And then to do the bombing there, right? It was like like Scott saying, such an expression of, you know what, F you.
Oh yeah. It's deliberate. Yep.
Knows exactly who he is, what he is, where he's been. Yeah, that was cool. I did like that they finally went someplace. Like I said, it felt more spacey when you throw in some other stuff that's recognizable, like Naboo. You
just must learn patience, Chris. Just learn.
You know,
I don't. There is a part of patience, but again, we're coming from the movie world with Star Wars, and some books are a lot faster than these things moved. I mean, those first 2 weeks.
We're 10 years into this experiment now. It's like you know how this works.
Hal Renner's last comment makes a great point because that can definitely be thrown into Andor, just the reverse. As Cassian said it to him, who are you?
Exactly.
You can see Palpatine and call of, sir, we caught Luthen Rael and it was him. Who?
He's like,
yeah.
Is he dead? Is he dead? Cool.
The who are you was one of the coolest Star Wars things. That might have put it up a whole half a point, by the way.
Yeah.
Not only that, but his reaction.
I want to see a live meter on Chris.
Oh, I think I might have fist pumped. I came up for that. I was like, that's the best writing right there. Like, who are you?
Yeah. Why are you beating me up?
He's been a mess this entire series, and he didn't even know. And then his head got blown out.
Yeah, then
this is that was great.
He didn't even have a chance to revel in the fact that I've done this for nothing.
Yeah,
and then he's
not a chance. It's just his last thought was, "What the fuck?"
It was so great. It was so great.
And not even that part.
Yeah,
it was like, wow, so good. And the fight was great because it was just nothing but passion. Right?
Yeah,
it was just
that's
pure hate on his part.
Yeah,
so it took every bit of hate in him just to fight normal. What the hell is going on, Cassian?
Yeah. That's why I learned to like Cyril's transition. And like when he attacked Dedra, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like I said, Cyril is a purist. He's an imperial purist.
I think that was a little bedroom play though too.
Well, it wasn't the first time they had done.
He's like, oh, we're this is no more safe words. All right, let's go.
Yeah. She said, I'm not even on my break yet. We're not even in the special break.
Oh, there's cameras.
Yeah.
She's not you, Lauren.
What's up, Chet? Nice. All right. Well, let's get out of here, guys. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I know. We probably go another hour and a half if we wanted to. We could, but
let's talk the Superman trailer.
Sorry. Us here at the Starlight Digest, we're very excited for Superman, and we are gonna go see it the day it comes out. And if anybody wants to join us, hit us up. We'll go.
Because yippee.
Yeah. And we'll see Fantastic Four too, but
do we want, because we could always shift to this right here and go beyond the pit and talk about
let's just continue for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Next time. So Ernie, let's take us out of here.
Oh man.
Yeah. Thank you. And join us for another Beyond the Pit. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you everybody for jumping in the pit with us tonight. We definitely appreciate it and all comments. We know you love us here because no matter what, it's still a watch. Thank you. Hit that thumbs up on your way out and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when we're on. Check us out on all social medias, and we got you covered. Join the Discord over there for some Star Wars talk, either that or Facebook if you don't know how to do the Discords. But the Discord has really popped off and everything, and Moocher likes to tell a lot of people there that they're wrong. So go over there for all.
I'm good at it.
Yeah,
I'm good at it.
He really is. That is his speciality.
Yeah. So join over there just to do that. And
you're not wrong.
Love you for it. Thank you to tonight's sponsor, Tashi Station Emporium, for all your figure stand needs. Make your figures look great while they're on your shelf as well, too. So do that. You're way late, all Star Wars fans. You got to be part of the replay crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, but he's overseas, so it's cool.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm cruising through the airport tomorrow if you're there. I know he works at the airport.
Yeah.
Where are you headed, man?
I'm going to Belgium tomorrow.
That's right. Chris goes.
Tomorrow's the trip? Really?
Tomorrow's the trip. Yep.
Nice.
So I won't be here next week because I'll be Belgiuming.
Nice.
What airport is it?
Heathrow.
Heathrow.
LAX to Heathrow to Brussels.
All right. You see the big bald American white dude. Go after him.
Oh, I would love it if he sees Chris. Wouldn't that be the best?
That would be awesome.
I don't know if I told everybody on here. If anybody on here doesn't know why I'm going to Belgium, it's because I won a trip dressed as a Jedi on Let's Make a Deal. So it aired on April 7th. If you have Paramount Plus, it's on there. But
yes, Let's Make a Deal is still recording.
No joke. This is with Wayne Brady.
But right now, for all those young Sarlacc Digest watchers who are all the what? You won what?
Yeah, right.
That's all right.
We're huge in Belgium. That's because we're huge in Belgium.
Huge.
Huge.
I guarantee I am.
He's gonna go sign autographs and everything.
You're gonna get a picture of me sent to the chat around a whole bunch of short Belgians.
Yeah.
And you got to do the high selfie one too, so it looks even better.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, that's
Huge in
funny.
Belgium.
Who are those Jawas?
Literally.
We're just kidding, Belgians. We love you too.
I wonder if we have any listeners from Belgium.
Treat Chris well.
If you're a listener from Belgium, drop us a like.
Devontae
and, let
was
us know
from
in the-
Belgium. Nice.
That's from Belgium.
Where he
He
is.
was from Belgium. Yeah,
I thought
he
there
was,
might have been a language barrier.
he was a mean Belgium.
Yeah, he's gonna
Belgium,
greet you.
yeah.
He's gonna greet you off the plane, Chris. So just
Yeah,
be
there
careful.
was a language
Hilarious.
barrier thing. There was a loss in communication there. Like, you know.
So join us next week where Chris won't be here. I'll be late, but these two will be talking away. So
Yes, we
Yeah.
will.
Chris, safe travels.
we
Have
do.
fun.
Thanks.
And if you're part of the replay crew, like all Star Wars fans, drop a comment and don't forget to hit that thumbs up as well.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. With that, Scott,
Keep it nerdy, everybody.
I'm glad to see this
Goodbye.
side of Rusty this time.
Yes. Yeah,
Not
look.
like
Hi,
our
it's this side of
normal-
Rusty.
Our normal
Oh,
view
he
of
is
things.
cute.
I mean, we could
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.